Maya's hands trembled as she stared at the pregnancy test in Vanessa's perfectly manicured fingers. Just 5 minutes ago, Maya had been dancing in Damien's arms, his lips against her temple, his whispered promise still warm in her ear. When this is over, I want to do this for real. Now Damien's ex-fiancée stood in the women's lounge, tears streaming down her flawless face, her voice breaking on 3 words that shattered everything. I'm pregnant. Maya. It's Damien's. Maya's throat constricted. She felt her chest compress, ribs squeezing her lungs until breathing hurt. The marble sink dug into her palms as she gripped it for balance. That's impossible. It's true. 8 weeks ago in Chicago, during the tech conference. Vanessa's voice was soft, almost apologetic, but her eyes held something else. Something that looked like victory. We ran into each other at the hotel bar. He was lonely. I was weak. We both made a mistake. The bathroom door swung open. Damien's sister Lily appeared, her bridal gown shimmering, her face bright with joy that died the moment she saw Vanessa. What are you doing here? Vanessa turned, one hand moving to her flat stomach in a gesture that would have been theatrical if it weren't so perfectly timed. I'm sorry to ruin your special day. But Damien deserves to know he's going to be a father. If you're already hooked and want to see how this twisted fake relationship unravels, hit that subscribe button now. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. And drop a comment telling me if you take $50,000 to fake date your boss. Now let's rewind to where this disaster actually started. 3 days earlier, Maya Chen had walked into Damien Roswell's corner office at exactly 7 in the morning, carrying his usual black coffee and her carefully maintained professional mask. She'd perfected that mask over 3 years of being desperately, hopelessly in love with a man who barely seemed to notice she existed beyond her ability to manage his calendar. Except today, Damien looked different. His $5,000 suit was slightly rumpled. His usually perfect hair stood in dark tufts like he'd been running his hands through it for hours. And his eyes, those sharp grey eyes that could dissect a business proposal in seconds, looked almost vulnerable. Maya. His voice was rough. Close the door. I need to ask you something, and I need you to hear me out before you say no. Her heart stuttered. She set the coffee down with shaky hands. Okay. He slid a document across his desk. My sister's getting married this weekend in Napa. The family thinks I'm falling apart after Vanessa. They've arranged blind dates, invited suitable women, turned it into a matchmaking circus. I can't do it. I can't spend Lily's wedding dodging pitying looks and defending my life choices. Maya stared at the paper. It was a contract. Her eyes caught on the number, $50,000. Her eyes widened in shock. I need a girlfriend for the weekend. Damien's jaw tightened. Fake. Professional. 1 wedding, 3 days, and then we go back to normal. The money's yours regardless of how it goes. No strings attached. $50,000. It was the exact amount Maya's brother's treatment would cost. The treatment their insurance had denied. The treatment that meant the difference between Ethan walking again or spending his 19th birthday in a wheelchair. Her pride screamed at her to refuse, but Ethan's pale face in that hospital bed flashed across her mind. She remembered his forced smile when he told her he'd be fine. He didn't need some expensive therapy, he could live with the pain. Why me? Her voice came out steadier than she felt. Something flickered in Damien's eyes. Because you're the only person I trust not to make it weird. The only person who won't read into it or want more than what's on paper. If only he knew. If only he had any idea that she'd spent 3 years wanting everything he wouldn't give. Separate rooms? She asked. Separate rooms. And after the wedding, nothing changes? His throat worked as he swallowed. Nothing changes. She signed before she could talk herself out of it. His hand brushed hers as he took the pen, and electricity sparked up her arm. She jerked back immediately. She had to stay professional. We leave Friday morning, Damien said. I'll have my assistant book your flight. He stopped. You are my assistant. For the first time that morning, she almost smiled. I'll book my own flight, Mr. Roswell. Damien. His voice dropped. Meyer, if we're doing this, you need to call me Damien. We've supposedly been secretly dating for 6 months. Her name in his voice, without the protective barrier of formality, felt dangerous. But $50,000 was $50,000. And it was only one weekend. What could possibly go wrong? The Napa Valley Resort dripped with old money and older wine. Meyer stepped out of the car Damien had sent for her, her discount store dress suddenly feeling obvious among the designer labels floating past. She'd splurged on new shoes at least, strappy heels that made her legs look longer even if they'd murdered her credit card. Meyer! Damien appeared at her elbow, and her breath caught. He wore charcoal slacks and a white button-down, sleeves rolled to his elbows, and he looked unfairly good. But it was the way he looked at her that stopped her heart. His eyes traveled from her face down her body and back up, slow and thorough, and when he met her gaze again, something burned there that she'd never seen before. You look. He cleared his throat. Beautiful. It's the contract talking, she said lightly. His hand settled on her lower back, warm through the thin fabric. The contract says I need a fake girlfriend. It doesn't say anything about lying. Before she could process that, a whirlwind in a sundress crashed into them. Lily Roswell was petite, blonde, and radiating the kind of joy that only existed in the week before a wedding. You must be Meyer. Oh my God, Damien, she's gorgeous. And you look so happy, both of you. I knew he was seeing someone. He's been different lately. Lily grabbed Meyer's hands. I have to know everything. How did you meet? When did you know? What made you fall for my grumpy brother? Meyer's mind went blank. Damien's hand tightened on her back. She brought me coffee every morning for 2 years before I was smart enough to actually see her, Damien said quietly. And I knew when she laughed at something our CFO said in a meeting. She has this laugh that just fills up a room. I realized I'd been engineering reasons to make her laugh for months. Meyer's eyes snapped to his. That was true. All of it. She did laugh at Robert's terrible jokes. And Damien had been funny lately, dry and unexpected, making her giggle over expense reports and meeting notes. He'd noticed. Are you feeling the tension yet? Because it's about to get so much worse. Smash that like button if you're Team Meyer, and let me know in the comments if you think Damien's feelings are real or just really good acting. The rehearsal dinner was intimate torture. 20 family members, all watching them with varying degrees of interest and approval. Damien kept his hand on her knee under the table, his thumb drawing absent circles that made concentration impossible for Meyer. When his aunt asked how long they'd been together, Meyer said 6 months at the exact same moment Damien said 7. 6 months and 3 weeks, he corrected smoothly. I'm counting from our first real date. Meyer's counting from when we admitted we had feelings. What's the difference? Lily's fiancé asked. We were dancing around it for weeks before I finally kissed her in the parking garage after a late meeting. Damien's eyes found Myers. I couldn't wait anymore. I'd been professional for so long, and then she smiled at me, and I just broke. This was fiction. A story for his family. So why did his voice sound like a confession? Kiss now, as someone called out. Others joined in, a chorus of demands, and Maya felt panic claw up her throat. Damien's hand cupped her face, turning her toward him. We don't have to, he murmured, low enough that only she heard. I can make a joke, deflect. It's fine. But her voice shook. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. Maya. She kissed him before she lost her nerve. She'd meant for the kiss to be quick, performative and safe. But Damien made a sound low in his throat and deepened it. His hand slid into her hair, tilting her head, and his mouth moved against hers like he'd been starving for this. She felt it everywhere, heat rushing through her veins, her hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. Someone whistled. Someone else laughed. The sounds filtered through the haze slowly, and when they finally broke apart, Damien's eyes were dark and slightly unfocused. That was... Lily fanned herself. Okay, you two are definitely in love. If only she knew how right she was. At least on Myers' side. That night, standing outside her hotel room door, Damien caught her wrist. We need to talk about what happened at dinner. Her pulse jumped. It was just acting. Was it? He stepped closer. The hallway suddenly felt too small. Because I've been your boss for 3 years, Meyer. I've been professional and appropriate. I never let myself cross that line because you work for me, and I won't be that guy who abuses his power. Damien, a Meyer cut in. But I'm not your boss this weekend. This weekend we're equals. And I need you to know that he stopped, clenching his jaw. I've noticed you. God, I've noticed everything. The way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. How you take your coffee with too much sugar. That you stay late not because I ask, but because you care about the work. You're brilliant, and you're kind, and you make me want to be the kind of man who deserves someone like you. Meyer's eyes burned. You offered me money to pretend to be your girlfriend. Because I'm an idiot who didn't know how else to get you here. How else to have one weekend where I could touch you without it being inappropriate. His hand came up to cup her face. Tell me I'm alone in this. Tell me you don't feel it, and I'll back off. We'll finish the weekend, you'll take the money, and Monday we'll go back to being professional. But Meyer, if there's any chance you feel even a fraction of what Her lips crashed against his lips, cutting him off mid-sentence. She poured 3 years of longing into the kiss, all the late nights she'd watched him work and wanted to smooth the tension from his shoulders, all the times she'd seen him smile and wanted to be the reason. He walked her backward until her shoulders hit the door. Your room or mine? This is a bad idea. But she was already fumbling for her key card. The worst. He kissed her neck, and her knees went weak. We should stop. Definitely. She got the door open. They made it 3 steps inside before he pulled back, breathing hard. Wait. I need to know. Why did you say yes? The truth, not the student loans excuse. And because he'd been honest, because the way he looked at her made her brave, she told him. About Ethan. About the insurance denial. About being so tired of being strong alone. Damien's expression shifted into something fierce and tender. After this weekend, We're fixing this. No. She pressed her fingers to his lips. I'm not your charity case. The contract is different. I'm providing a service. But I won't take handouts. What if it's not a handout? What if I offer you a real position? VP of Strategic Development. You're wasted as an assistant, Meyer. I've watched you solve problems in minutes that take my executives days. I've read the notes you leave in the margins of reports. You see things others miss. Damien, as she whispered, but he cut her off. $250,000 salary. Market rate. You'd earn it. And if things between us don't work out romantically, the job stands. Separate issues. Her heart was too full. She'd spent 3 years invisible, and now he was seeing everything. They didn't sleep together. Instead, they talked until sunrise, tangled in hotel sheets, sharing secrets and dreams and 3 years of almost moments. And when she finally drowsed off against his shoulder, Maya let herself believe in fairy tales. The wedding day was perfect. Lily glowed. Her fiancé cried during vows. And when Damien took Mayer's hand during the ceremony, she felt him squeeze gently, saw him mouthy "That'll be us someday," and her heart soared. At the reception, they danced. His hand splayed across her back, holding her close, and his lips brushed her ear. I meant it. When this is over, I want to do this for real. No contract. No pretending. Just us. Just us, she echoed, and let herself float in the moment. Then the ballroom doors opened, and Vanessa Brighton walked in. She looked like a movie star in a white dress that was absolutely inappropriate for someone else's wedding. Her hair cascaded in perfect waves. Her makeup highlighted eyes that went wide and teary the moment they landed on Damien. I'm sorry, she called out, voice breaking. I didn't want to interrupt, but Damien, I need to talk to you. It's important. The music died. Everyone turned to stare. Damien's whole body went rigid. Not now, Vanessa. I'm pregnant. The words fell like bombs. It's yours. The room erupted in gasps and whispers. Meyer felt the floor tilt. That's impossible, Damien said, but his face had gone pale. Chicago. The tech conference 8 weeks ago. We ran into each other at the hotel bar. Vanessa's voice was soft, apologetic, but her eyes were calculating. I know the timing is terrible. I know I don't deserve anything from you after how I ended things. But you deserve to know about your child. Lily's face crumpled. Her perfect day, ruined. Meyer pulled away from Damien. His hand shot out to catch hers. Meyer, I didn't. Let me go. Her voice was ice over broken glass. I wasn't with her. I swear to God, I didn't even see her in Chicago. But Vanessa was crying now, looking fragile and honest. I have the hotel receipt. Room 2304. You said you'd had too much to drink. You said you were trying to forget someone who didn't want you. That detail, that specific, painful detail, made it real. Meyer wrenched free and ran. She made it to the bathroom before the tears came. Great, gasping sobs that she muffled against her hands. She'd been so stupid. So unbelievably stupid to think a man like Damien could actually want her. The contract was the truth. The weekend was business, and she'd let herself believe the fairy tale. The bathroom door opened behind her. Vanessa's reflection appeared in the mirror. You should go, Meyer managed. I wanted to apologize. Vanessa's voice was gentle. I didn't know about you. If I'd known he'd moved on, I wouldn't have come. But a child changes things. Surely you understand. Meyer turned to face her. And that's when she saw it, the flash of satisfaction in Vanessa's eyes before she smoothed it away. You're lying. Meyer said. Excuse me? I don't know what game you're playing, but I know a liar when I see one. Meyer's voice steadied. And you're lying. Vanessa's mask slipped. Her smile turned sharp. Maybe. But can he afford to take that risk? Can he live with himself if he abandons his child? Damien's honorable. It's his weakness. And honor means he'll do the right thing. She leaned closer. Which means he'll choose me. He'll marry me. And you'll go back to being his assistant. If he even keeps you on after this messy little incident. Why are you doing this? Meyer's voice came out strangled. Because he's mine. He was always supposed to be mine. Vanessa's voice turned vicious. My family lost everything. My husband is useless. And Damien built an empire from nothing. Do you know what that's worth? He could save my family's company. Give me the life I deserve. I made a mistake letting him go, and I'm correcting it. He'll never believe you're pregnant. Meyer whispered. He will. Because I have details. Because I'm convincing. And because you, Vanessa looked her up and down. You're just the help. He might have felt sorry for you, or maybe he enjoyed playing savior. But when it comes down to it, he'll choose his child. They always do. Then she walked out, leaving Maya standing in the ruins of her brief, shining happiness. If your heart is breaking right now, mine is too. Comment below what you'd do in Meyer's situation. And hit that subscribe button because this story is about to take a turn no one sees coming. Meyer didn't go back to the reception. She booked a flight home, packed her bag, and left her hotel key at the desk with a note for Damien, * the contract's fulfilled. Keep your money. We're done. Monday morning, she turned in her resignation letter, blocked his number and tried to figure out how to survive the death of something that was never really hers to begin with. But on Tuesday, Ethan's doctor called her with an impossible news. The treatment was paid for anonymously. Through a hospital foundation that, when she dug deeper, traced back to a donation from Roswell Enterprises. The next day, she stormed into Damien's office, sailing past his new temporary assistant. He looked terrible. Dark circles, rumpled suit. The haunted expression of a man missing sleep. You had no right, she said. Meyer. He stood so fast his chair rolled back. You blocked me. You won't answer. You had no right to pay for Ethan's treatment. I didn't want your pity money. She yelled. It's not pity. He moved around the desk. And it's not payment for the weekend. It's what I should have done the second you told me. It's what anyone who loves you would do. You don't love me. You're having a baby with Vanessa. I'm not. His voice was raw. Meyer, I swear on everything I have, I never touched her. Not in Chicago, not ever since she left. I haven't been with anyone in over a year because the only person I wanted was you, and I thought I couldn't have you. She knew the details. Meyer's voice was breaking now. She knew I was at a conference that was publicized on our company website. She could have looked up hotel information. Meyer, she's lying. It wasn't making sense, and Meyer couldn't bring herself to believe Damien's words. Why would she lie about being pregnant? Because she wants my money. Her family is bankrupt. I had my attorney look into it. He pulled out a folder. Her husband's trust is tied up in litigation. Her father's company is 3 months away from collapse, and my company is worth $3 billion. Meyer stared at the documents. Financial records. Investigation reports. I hired a private investigator. Damien continued. Vanessa was never at the Chicago conference. She wasn't even in the state. She was in New York at a society fundraiser. There are photos. And her husband, Preston, has known she's been obsessed with me since my company's valuation doubled. Then why not just tell everyone she's lying? Because I needed proof. And because, his voice cracked. Because you left. You blocked me and I thought I'd lost you. I thought even if I proved she was lying, you'd still be gone because I brought that chaos into your life. Because I'm the idiot who paid you to fake a relationship instead of just asking you on a real date like a normal person. Meyer's hands shook. Preston knows. He gave me the evidence. His filing for divorce. Apparently, there's a limit even for enabling husbands, and fabricating a pregnancy to trap another man crossed it. So she's not pregnant? Meyer wanted to be sure. She's not pregnant. And I'm going to confront her today. With attorneys. And I want you there. His hand reached for hers, hesitant. I want her to see that she didn't win. That the woman I love is standing beside me, and no amount of manipulation will change that. Damien. I love you. He cut her in. Not the fake version. Not the performance. You. The real you who takes terrible care of everything even when she's terrified. The confrontation had happened at an upscale restaurant, neutral territory. Vanessa had arrived expecting a private reconciliation. Instead, she'd found Damien, Meyer, and Preston, Meyer's husband, waiting. When they'd presented the evidence, Vanessa's beautiful mask had cracked. She denied it at first, voice shrill, then crumbled into tears when Preston had played an incriminating recording. Her confession had spilled out in gasps. You were supposed to be mine. We were perfect together. Then you got rich, really rich, and my family's company started failing, and I realized I'd chosen wrong. I thought if I could just get you back, everything would be okay. My marriage is empty. My life is empty. You were supposed to save me. Damien's voice had been cold, colder than Meyer had ever heard it. I loved you once, Vanessa. I would have given you everything. But you wanted a trust fund, not a partner. Meyer loved me when I was just her annoying boss who made her work late. She didn't need me to save her. She was already saving herself, saving her brother, being the strongest person I know. That's the difference. That's why you lost. Vanessa had left in tears, Preston following to begin divorce proceedings and his own path to becoming a better man. Damien had turned to Meyer, and she'd seen everything in his eyes. Fear. Hope. Love so intense it took her breath away. Later, in the hospital where Ethan was responding beautifully to treatment, Damien had found Meyer in her brother's room. Ethan had taken one look at them and announced he needed to take a walk, winking at Meyer as he left. I'm scared, Meyer admitted, the walls finally crumbling. I've never let anyone in because everyone leaves when things get hard. My dad. Everyone. I learned to handle everything alone. Damien took her hands in his. I'm not asking you to handle things alone. I grew up poor. Meyer. I built my company from nothing. I've been broke and desperate and terrified. I know hard. And I know that the only thing harder than struggling is having everything and being alone. I don't want to be alone anymore. I want to be with you. Through the hard things and the beautiful things and everything in between. No more contracts, Ishid whispered. No more contracts. Just honesty. Just us, figuring this out together. She'd kissed him then, and it had felt like coming home. He didn't propose marriage. It was too soon for that, they'd both agreed. Instead, he asked her on a real first date. He promised to prove every day that choosing him wouldn't break her. We do this right, Ishi said. Slow. I need to trust this. I'll earn it, he promised. Every single day. 6 months later, at Lily's baby shower in the same Napa Valley venue where everything had almost fallen apart, Damien went down on one knee with a ring that was simple and elegant and perfect. The sun had been setting over the valley, painting everything gold. Family and friends had been inside celebrating Lily's pregnancy, oblivious to the moment unfolding on the terrace. 6 months ago, Damien said, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes, or I paid you to pretend to love me. Today I'm asking you to choose me for real. No contract. No performance. Just a lifetime of choosing each other, every day, through everything. Meyer Chen, will you marry me? Meyer had looked at the man she loved, the man who'd proven himself in 1,000 small ways over 6 months. Who'd been patient with her fears. Who'd celebrated her professional victories. Who'd sat with Ethan during treatments and made her mother laugh and earned his place in her life not with money but with presence. You know what? Ishi said, unable to keep the joy from her voice. I'm going to need that in writing. They both laughed, the tension breaking into pure happiness. Yes, Ishit said as he slipped the ring onto her finger. 8,000 times yes. They kissed as the sun painted the sky in shades of pink and gold. Inside, someone noticed the engagement and erupted into cheers. Ethan wolf whistled and Lily cried happy tears. Later, wrapped in Damien's arms as the party continued around them, Meyer whispered, a best $50,000 I never took. Damien smiled against her hair. Best money I ever offered to spend. Because what had started as a transaction had become priceless. What had started as pretense had become the most real thing in both their lives. And what had started with a lie had led them to the truest thing either had ever known. That love, real love, was worth every risk, every fear, every leap of faith. They'd both learned that home wasn't a place. It was a person. It was choosing each other, every single day, and meaning it. And that was worth more than any contract could ever promise. If this story touched your heart, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss another emotional journey like this one. Drop a comment and tell me what you want to see next. More romance, more drama, or maybe both. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best love stories are the ones where people choose each other not once, but every single day. See you in the next one.